Mitch McConnell is the most powerful member of Congress. He's earned plenty of criticism, which he often embraces, agreeing even with Nancy Pelosi that he is indeed the Grim Reaper of the United States Senate, celebrating the Cocaine Mitch meme as a kind of joke, dismissing what was an unsubstantiated attack by a rival. He even fundraised off it, selling shirts with the Cocaine Mitch logo. Now, McConnell's also made headlines for embracing his dark side because he also welcomes the nickname Darth Vader.
One morning, walking up to dozens of reporters, their microphones ready to capture my words, which they'd likely twist the next day in papers across the country, I welcomed them by announcing Darth Vader has arrived.
Darth Vader's arrived. Classic McConnell, seizing on basically the worst thing you could call him to claim he doesn't even care, while still delighting in the mood of the authority of some kind of evil villain. Darth Vader was on the wrong side, but no one denied his awesome power, which he used to overpower mortals and make his own deals.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Vader determines the deal. Everyone else has to live with it. And that's how McConnell runs the Senate, which complicates the task of pressuring someone who claims to be impervious to pressure. Meanwhile, the pressure is building. Today, the Washington Post editorial section putting out this unusual full-page call aimed right at Mr. McConnell, demanding that he do something on gun safety and gun control. We turn now to Bill Kristol, conservative journalist, former Republican White House aide, director of the group Defending Democracy Together. Good evening, sir.
Hi, Harry.
You know Vader a little bit, right?
Yeah. I think that's a bum rap to compare Darth Vader to Mitch McConnell. Darth Vader's, he was running the empire pretty well. You know, he rose to the top through merit. It was a well-run empire until that rebellion started going, you know, whereas McConnell is stopping an awful lot of legislation from even coming to the floor of the Senate, so.
I can see the headlines now. Bill Kristol defends Darth Vader's, quote, meritocratic rise. When you look at, as you mentioned, the lack of the votes, I think that guns are an issue. I grew up in a gun-owning household. I know guns are an issue that people have strong feelings about across the nation. But you have been banging this drum that it's about more than just H-gun policy. It's about whether in the wake of this mass shooting epidemic, there are even going to be Democratic votes on this. Explain.
Well, that's what's so extraordinary. I mean, people can differ, obviously, on gun measures and whether any or all of them are useful or right. But, you know, the reason we have a Senate is to debate these bills and to mark them up in committee, debate them, amend them, vote on them. The House has passed a couple of gun measures. In the normal course of things, the Senate should take them up. If they don't pass them, they don't pass them. If they pass them and the president vetoes them and there aren't the votes to override the veto, that's fine. Same with election security legislation, which has bipartisan support. Again, passed the House. Very important. A lot of secretaries of state around the country, especially including Republicans, say they could use the help to make sure our elections work securely in 2020. McConnell not even bringing them to the floor. For me, it really is sort of an issue of sort of how the democracy is working, how Congress is working. It's really quite extraordinary. And to be fair, McConnell's doing it, but he's doing it with the support, obviously, of his Republican colleagues. If they wanted to, they could overrule him.
That's what I want to dig in on you onto it with you. Would you permit me a slightly personal Washington story?
Sure.
You know, I started out many, many years ago working as a very junior aide in the U.S. Senate. And I still remember then the very elderly Senator Robert Byrd, who was wrong about a great many things, but who was known as the in-house historian of the Senate. And he talked about the outrage he had when the Senate would roll over and not do its duty, that they were elected to go there and represent and not just fold to whatever the president wanted. In that case, he was fighting George W. Bush on the war. I want to put that up in relief to what Mitch McConnell, who spent his whole life getting to this position, as you say, with or without the force, and then does what? Says, well, I'm just here to wait around and do what Trump tells me to do, and really implies that out loud, which in a way is sort of admitting there's no senatorial prerogative. Take a look.
I said several weeks ago that if the president took a position on a bill so that we knew we would actually be making a law and not just having serial votes, I'd be happy to put it on the floor. And if the president is in favor of a number of things that he has discussed openly and publicly, and I know that if we pass it, it'll become law, I'll put it on the floor.
Bill, is that backwards?
Yeah, why elect senators if they're just not going to do anything unless they know ahead of time the president's going to sign the legislation? The military construction funds that various senators are complaining about that the president has taken to use for the wall, that's under an emergency declaration that the Senate could overturn. About 10 Republicans voted to. They couldn't overturn Trump's veto. That should be brought back up, too. I really think Republican senators, there needs to be pressure put on the senators themselves, not just on Mitch McConnell, to act like senators.
Yeah. Bill Kristol, always good to have your perspective. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Harry.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.